What's up, everyone? Welcome to this day in Philly Sports History for October 16th, 2023. I'm your host, Jim Montgomery, and let's just rip the Band-Aid off and go right into it. First, congratulations to the 1972 Dolphins for still remaining to be the only team to ever go through a season undefeated and winning the Super Bowl. Lot to unpack. Start with the easiest one first. We lost our bet. We're now 4-4 on the year. The Lane injury is not good. Driscoll just did. He did his Winston Justice impersonation, which ultimately led to Hurts not necessarily having a great game. Very uncharacteristic turnovers from him. Receivers were dropping balls. That led to turnovers. I mean, it just, I don't know. Like, I really don't know. The play calling, that was questionable, especially when Driscoll couldn't stop anybody. Why did you abandon the run game? Was it because Swift fumbled? Like, it was just an overall good game, or a bad game, and they got caught sleepwalking. They basically, I don't know what happened. I don't know whether they came in feeling themselves or what, but definitely a wake-up call. Tough game next Sunday night now against Miami. They have a real legitimate shot to especially if they play like how they did today or yesterday, they have a legitimate shot to lose two straight. Hopefully it's the wake-up call. They need it. I will say that typically they've bounced back when they've played like this. So hopefully, they all talked about accountability, and I'm sure there was plenty of blame to go around. Take your pick. Jake Elliott missing field goal. Again, take your pick. No reason, no excuse to lose that game, though. The Jets are not – Zach Wilson's terrible. So the fact that the defense, I will say, I guess if we can take a positive out, defense played very well. You don't necessarily expect your offense to only score 14 points. And a lot of the points the Jets got were set up by the turnovers. So I don't know. I hope they take this as a wake-up call, because that was hands down the worst game I've ever seen Hurts play. Worst game I've seen them play in a while. And truthfully, I guess the only other thing to take solace in is that the 49ers didn't play that good. They lost. They didn't. Cleveland, I guess it was windy, whatever, but they didn't look good. They suffered some injuries. McCaffrey left the game. The Bills looked terrible against the Giants. Probably should have lost that game last night. So I guess we can take a little bit of solace in that and hopefully root for the Chargers tonight to knock off the Cowboys. But just what a crappy ending to what was otherwise a good week. But we turn the page and get right into Phillies. But first, a couple housekeeping notes. Be sure to check out the latest Back to the Future. Speaking of those Phils, we took a look at Dick Allen and Jimmy Rollins' Hall of Fame cases. Go check that out, Back to the Future with a PH, wherever you get your podcasts, as well as on YouTube. Want to give a happy birthday shout out to my cousin Greg, turning 45 this year, and happy birthday, brother. We're getting old. We are getting old. But you know what does get old as well? The trash in the back of my truck. I told you about this yesterday. We have a new partner, carcan.com. It's a trash can, and it fits right on the back of your seat, and you can have your kids put their trash in it so I don't have like fruit snack wrappers underneath my seat, lollipop, you name it, it's back there. So puts right in front of them. They can do it. Don't want to use it as a trash can. You can use it as storage. Going on a long trip, you can actually use it as a cooler too. Really cool stuff. They have many different sort of organization containers for whatever your needs are. So go check them out, carcan.com. Use the promo code Jim Montgomery 20 off for 20% off of your order. This makes a great Christmas present. Not that I might be buying it for people out there listening for Christmas. So if you are listening, just act surprised. But yeah, carcan.com. It's a trash, it's storage, it even works as a cooler. It's pretty cool. Go there, carcan.com, use the promo code Jim Montgomery 20 off for 20% off of your order. All right, getting into the Phils now. And I thought this was interesting that I don't know how I feel about this because I know they do it a lot all the time in the NFL, but the Diamondbacks kind of simulated and pumped in crowd noise at their practices this week to get them ready for the playoff atmosphere in Citizens Bank Park. I think it's smart, but I wonder, and in baseball it's a little different, but I'm almost wondering if we're already in their heads, though. I just thought that was interesting for a baseball game, but I expect the crowd to be out of control tonight for Game 1. And again, I got burnt yesterday because I'm like, I don't see any way the Eagles are going to lose to the Jets, and sure enough. But I feel as though the pitching is going to be the difference in this series. Both lineups are hot right now. Top of the rotation, Arizona can compete with us. But I think once they get past their top two, they might be putting a couple bullpen games together, which their bullpen has been pitching well in the playoffs. But I think that's going to be the difference, especially last year and so far in this playoffs. It's happened. The key is going to be the Ranger-Suarez game. And he's been lights out in his postseason starts and so far this year. So I think that's going to end up being the difference. I think it's going to be a competitive series. They're not going to roll through this. But having the home field advantage is going to be huge, especially if it gets to Game 7. And they have the advantage of having that at home is huge. I don't think it gets there. I think the Phillies win it in 6. I think we're going on to the World Series for the second straight time. Maybe a rematch with the Astros, possibly what would have been back in, 2010, I think, was the year they lost to the Giants, and it was Giants-Rangers, I think, or 2011. But either way, I'm going Phillies in 6 to win this series against the Diamondbacks. I think our pitching is just going to be just too much for them, and I think that's where we have the advantage because they're coming in just as hot as we are. So pitching and the home field advantage, I think, is what gets it done for the Phils. All right, so Sixers rumors. And the rumor is that the Clippers have offered a bunch of, like a first-round pick swap. I think another first-round pick or somehow. So basically, they can swap the picks if they want, and then they're getting an extra pick. And then just a bunch of expiring contracts. And, I mean, at this point, like, you see the gif of, or GIF, I don't even know which one it's called, but either way. But with Ben Stiller going, do it. I think you have to do that trade. I mean, you got to just get him out of here, get something for him. You get some of the picks back because they haven't been good with their picks because they've been trading them away for things. And then you get the expiring contracts and almost again, and I know they'll never say this, but basically punt on this year. And you have all those contracts now coming off the books, and you're set up perfectly now to take advantage of free agency next year and make a run at it. But we'll see. Again, it's just rumors, so I don't know. But if that is what it is, expiring contracts, and at this point, I feel like just do it. Like get it over with and just do it. Anyway, all right. Today we're gonna go back to 1963. And the Sixers opened up with a 117-115 win over the Pistons in Detroit. Hal Greer had 26, 10, and 4. Red Kerr had 12, 12, and 6. And this was the first ever game for the Philadelphia 76ers. They had moved the previous offseason from Syracuse due to financial concerns. And the Warriors had left the year before. So this was the first time a professional basketball team from Philadelphia had played in a couple years. And then we know in a couple years, Wilt Chamberlain came back home and played for them and ultimately led them to a title in the 1967-68 season. But on this day, it was the Philadelphia 76ers playing their first ever game as a franchise in Philadelphia, first ever game as the Sixers. Remember, they were the Nationals when they were back in Syracuse. But I guess you could say this is sort of like a happy anniversary / birthday for the Sixers, as it's their first time ever playing as the Sixers. So kudos for that. And it was a win, too. All right, sticking with our Philadelphia Sports Hall of Fame focus leading up to that induction ceremony in November. Remember, if you want information on the tickets or this year's induction class, go to philadelphiasportshalloffame.org. Information on how you can kind of volunteer and help them out, or the past inductees and classes and things like that, go to phillyhall.org. Two separate sites for two separate things. But go check them out. It's a great organization. But today we're going to shout out and congratulate one of this year's inductees, and that is Carol Lewis from track and field. And Carol, yes, she is Carl Lewis's sister. Born and raised in South Jersey, went to Willingboro High. She set the national high school long jump record, went to the University of Houston, where she was a 12-time NCAA All-American, 7 Southwest Conference championships in the hurdles, high jump, and long jump, 2-time U.S. long jump record holder, 2-time NCAA champion in the long jump, 83 and 85, 4-time United States long jump champion, 4-time U.S. indoor long jump, Penn Relays winner in the long jump 4 times. She's in the Penn Relays Wall of Fame and the Southwest Conference Hall of Fame. Just one of the greatest to ever do it. I mean, that family was just the absolute legends in track and field. So shout out to Carol Lewis for your induction into the 2023 Philadelphia Sports Hall of Fame. Remember, for more information, go to philadelphiasportshalloffame.org or phillyhall.org. And as I've always mentioned, we can't talk about where the GOATs of Philly sports live without talking about the GOAT of Philly sports apparel. Go to phillygoat.com. Even though it's a sad day for the Eagles, get your Eagles stuff there. Get geared up for the potential World Series run. The Flyers are in full swing now. The Sixers tip off in a couple weeks. Actually, less than 2 weeks now that I think about it. The Union are getting ready for a playoff run, so go get your gear there. Again, makes a great Christmas present. Use the promo code Jim Montgomery for 10% off of your order. That's phillygoat.com. Use the promo code Jim Montgomery. All right, so tough one for the Eagles. And again, plenty of blame to go around. Let me know who, of all of them, who takes the blame? What was the biggest reason for that? Was it the play calling? Was it Jalen? Was it the receivers? Was it Lane getting hurt? I mean, you name it. There's plenty to go around. Let me know your thoughts on that. Who's the biggest blame for this season? Let me know. Also know your Phillies picks. Like I said, I can't necessarily see them not winning this, but you never know. I mean, obviously it's crazier things have happened, but I really think the pitching is going to be the difference. So Phillies in 6. On this day, back in 1963, the Sixers played their first ever game as the Sixers, a 117-115 win over the Pistons. Still hearing some of those rumors about James Harden. I feel like we're getting close to crunch time now. Less than, I think it's like 9 or 10 days until they kick off the season. So I think you're going to hear a lot of rumors and things might heat up a lot over the course of this week. But be sure to check out the Back to the Future. Happy birthday to my cousin Greg. Be sure to go to CarCan. Use the promo code Jim Montgomery, 20% off. I think it's okay to breathe. It was a stinker, but a lot of teams did the same thing yesterday. So it's not the end of the world yet. I want to see how they bounce back on Sunday, but it's just not a good way to start the week. I mean, it just... But we got the Phillies tonight, so should be a fun week. Let's go Phils. Congrats to Carol Lewis for your induction into the 2023 Philadelphia Sports Hall of Fame. This has been This Day in Philly Sports History. I'm Jim Montgomery. Go have yourselves a Monday, and until next time, go Phils.